Monday is the start of Ramadan, Islam's holy month. More than 1 billion Muslims worldwide will mark this sacred time with prayers and fasting. For the next 30 days, they will abstain from eating or drinking from dawn to dusk. Indonesia is the most populous Muslim nation in the world. People there have been sharing food with the poor and visiting graves to welcome the month. For more insight into what the month means for Muslims around the world and some of the issues that arise during this time, we now turn to Bessma Momami, a professor at the University of Waterloo in Canada. Welcome to our show, ma'am. Let's start with Europe, because a major monitoring group there said Islamophobia in the UK, for example, is on the rise. Is it safe to say, in your opinion, that there is more hate towards Muslims now than, say, 5 years ago?
I think so. I mean, certainly 9/11 was probably the height of it, of course, but we have seen a steady rise as the rise of the right wing in many parts of the Western world have really taken hold, not just frankly, in terms of the types of groups that are active in protests, but even in political parties. We've seen official political parties across Europe, across even North America. Many of these official political parties now seem to espouse a lot of Islamophobic views, very much painting all Muslims in a very negative brush. And of course, I think what's important here is that Muslims are increasingly the type of migrants that are coming to many of these Western European and Western countries. So it's conflicting, I think, with the demographic shift that's happening throughout the continents.
Also, Professor Momami, across Europe, as you mentioned, far right activists and groups are making political gains. For example, in Spain, the recent parliamentary election over there, we saw the Vox party come into parliament. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, you know, it really fits the alt-right narrative that is very populist, which is that, you know, wealthy elite are very much currying favor to immigrant groups, that they're trying to change the demographic profile of many of these countries. That it really is the mainstay of many of these groups' ideological views. And of course, it's wrong in the sense that there is some sort of cabal trying to undermine the demographic makeup of these countries. It's just a reality that many European and Western countries need immigrants. They need it for everything to do the jobs that many immigrants are, or I should say many Europeans and North Americans don't want to do, to the reality that in terms of immigrant sending countries, it tends to be many Muslim countries where people are escaping their own violence that want to come to these destinations. So there's a lot of push and pull reasons, but at the end result is frankly a rise of Islamophobia and political parties very much cashing in on those societal sentiments.
And also, hate seems to be a two-way street. Let's look at it. Sri Lanka attacks on Christian churches took place a month after New Zealand attacks on mosques. Is that a coincidence? How should we digest all these?
Well, I mean, just like we wouldn't want to suggest that, you know, alt-right groups, despite the fact that they may be 2 to 5% of a population, explains all of Christian phenomena or Western society's culture, nor should we say the same about, you know, Islamic cultures writ large, if there is such a thing. So, look, it is unfortunate that ISIS is still very much active. It has, I think, of course, tainted the religion of Islam more than any other actor in modern history, but it is a sad reality that the entire world needs to fight, because indeed it's a terrorist group that has caused, in fact, more havoc and more damage to Muslim societies and death toll and obviously just overall infrastructure damage than any other modern group in history. So it's really a global challenge, if anything.
Bessma Momami, professor at the University of Waterloo in Canada, thanks so much for your insight.